Right now at noon, some new changes are happening for Missouri voters. We'll have what you need to know this election season. And we hear the heroic story of how a Kansas trooper delivered a baby on the side of the road. Plus, a die-hard Kansas City Chiefs fan transforms his front yard into a shrine of his favorite NFL team.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. In today's top story, this election year is going to look a little different in Missouri. KOAM's Samantha Walker tells us what voters need to know about what's changed.
Missouri voters may be used to voting in presidential primary elections, but that is changing.
Of course, the Missouri legislature did not reinstitute the presidential preference primaries, so in the state of Missouri, we're going to be a caucus state this year.
Now, Republican voters will have the opportunity to participate in a caucus on March 2nd.
I guess this is the first time in my recollection that we're actually having where we're going to count the votes for that candidate, and that candidate actually will be the one that wins.
On the day of the caucus, voters will choose which candidate they want to represent them.
If it is an individual that has less than 15% of the vote, that individual will actually drop out, and those individuals will be able to align themselves with one of the other candidates.
The Jasper County Clerk says the caucus serves the same purpose as a primary election.
You know, the whole purpose of the caucus is just like the primary. The Republicans pull the Republican ballot so they can choose who they want to be on the ballot in November, as the Republican Democrats do the same thing.
He says anyone wanting to participate in the Republican caucus needs to be prepared.
You're going to have to register to vote prior to the caucuses. If you show up and you're not registered, you will not be allowed to participate in the caucus.
In Carthage, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
To find more information about the upcoming caucuses, including locations in each county, go to our website at koamnewsnow.com. A Kansas Highway Patrol trooper went above and beyond the call of duty on January 12th. He helped deliver a baby. Master Trooper Devon Brame got a call that a mother and father were on their way to the hospital, but they didn't think that they were going to make it. Trooper Brame and the father assisted the mother, and she gave birth to baby Pearson on the side of a Kansas road. Little Pearson and his mother were taken to the hospital to get checked out, and both are doing great.
Well, of course, it's turned out to be a pretty good morning so far, and another great day for us today. All week long, we've had temperatures into the 60s, which is fantastic. In fact, look at our high temp today, 67 degrees, 63 by 2, 65 by 4 p.m. Now, we are going to have a lot of clouds. It is going to be windy. Our winds are going to be gusting up there near 30 by the time we get into the evening hours. They try to back down a little bit as we go into Friday, but still it's going to be breezy with those southerly winds in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. Here's what we're tracking. Check this out. Rain moving in by the time we head into the weekend. Now, I think Friday is going to be dry, but this is going to cause some issues with wet roads. Thankfully not ice or snow, but wet roads by the time we head into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm going to have a whole bunch more on this, all coming up here in just a little bit.
A Kansas mother whose son killed himself after being bullied is teaming up with state legislators to criminalize the act of encouraging others to attempt suicide. Betsy Webster reports.
Nearly all his life, Max's mom says, he was full of joy.
Think of the most loyal person you've ever known and multiply it by 100. And that was Max.
Loyal, funny, popular.
Leche, leche, leche.
In high school, he founded the Leche Club, a place to belong. Instead of special skills or interests, it was for anyone who liked milk and cookies, i.e. everyone.
And they ended his funeral the same way they ended every club. And they said, "Long live Leche."
Last year, a heartbreak left him spiraling downward. His mom knew. They talked openly. She was working to get him help, but therapists were booked.
We finally got him in for an appointment on Monday, but he died on Friday.
In the days leading up to his death, he'd been getting harassing texts. He warned the person texting that he was considering suicide. They replied saying, "Good, do it. Nobody cares."
And that messaging persisted until Max sent back a very somber reply that he would be following through. And he did. And that was the last communication my son ever had on this earth.
House Bill number 2488 by Representative Hoheisel.
The Wichita lawmaker who introduced the bill made it clear the goal isn't punishment, but prevention.
We want this to be a conversation of just don't do this to begin with. There are real world consequences for doing this.
A clinical psychologist with the University of Kansas Health System says the underlying problem is young brains whose frontal lobes haven't yet developed impulse control. That mixed with cell phones allowing bullies to follow you 24/7.
If you used to have a problem with somebody at school and you were at school, when you went home, they didn't follow you there. They didn't pop up in your bedroom at 10:30 at night and continue to ridicule.
He's not sure a law will stop that. His focus is encouraging parents to have real talks even before adolescence and to check in with them, even if they seem annoyed, to give them a message.
I'm always going to be here, and you are never, ever going to say something to me that I can't handle, and you are never going to burden me with anything.
Max's mom did all those things. She knows a new law has its limits, but it's something.
There's another Max out there that needs this law to exist so someone reroutes their plans. That's what I want to do. I couldn't save my son. I want to save the next person.
The Kansas Department of Health and Environment reports more than 6,000 suicides between 2011 and 2022. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in the 4 states region. Up next on KOAM News at Noon. Music's biggest night is almost here. Final preparations are underway for the 66 Grammy Awards happening this weekend. And later, we're making beef stroganoff in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. Stay tuned. Music's biggest night is almost here. Final preparations are underway for the 66 Grammy Awards that will be handed out Sunday night in Los Angeles. Donna Backus looks at who's vying for the coveted statues.
R&B star SZA is going into Sunday's Grammy Awards show with the most nominations. The Kill Bill singer has 9, including Album, Record, and Song of the Year.
She'll definitely take home a couple, okay? It would be very, very, very surprising if she were shut out completely.
Artists Phoebe Bridgers and Victoria Monet are right behind with 7 nods each. Monet is up for Best New Artist. She'll face off against Ice Spice, Jelly Roll, Coco Jones, and more.
And Victoria Monet was the surprise multi-nominee of the year. 7 nominations. That's a lot for a relatively, I don't want to say unknown artist, but a lesser known artist. So I'm kind of pulling for her myself.
Taylor Swift once again made Grammy history with her nod for Song of the Year. Thanks to Anti-Hero, she is the artist with the most Song of the Year nominations. She's actually never won in that category, but could break a record for wins in another.
Taylor is obviously the one to beat, but it's kind of interesting because this is not, I don't think anyone would say it's their favorite Taylor Swift album of the year. If she wins, it'll be her 4th, which will be a record.
Trevor Noah will host the Grammys for the 4th consecutive year, but this time he's also a nominee. He's up for Best Comedy Album for I Wish You Would.
I get to enjoy the fact that I'm nominated, but the night's got to go on, the show's got to go on, and so I'll have my mind elsewhere at the time.
In addition to awards, there will be star-studded performances. U2 will make history with the first ever broadcast performance from the Sphere in Las Vegas. Billy Joel, Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, Burna Boy, and Travis Scott are just a few of the artists set to take the Grammy stage. Donna Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
80-year-old folk icon Joni Mitchell will also take the Grammy stage for the first time. You can watch the Grammys on Sunday night right here on CBS and stream it on Paramount+. And preparations for the big game are currently underway along the Las Vegas Strip. Tourists are starting to see signs everywhere, including the giant Roman numerals that are in front of Caesar's Palace. The famous fountains of Bellagio are in the process of being transformed into a TV production set for broadcast. Pedestrian bridges over the Strip recently got a new look. The pillars of the bridges are now wrapped in NFL logos. Over at Allegiant Stadium, the parking lot has been transformed into a tent town as security ramps up around the clock. The countdown continues for Super Bowl 58 happening on February 11th. And speaking of the Super Bowl, a die-hard Kansas City Chiefs fan has transformed his front yard into a shrine of sorts, supporting his favorite NFL team. Caroline Hogan spoke to him about his yard art, which includes a tribute to Travis Kelce's main squeeze.
For Jeff Parson, the 2023 season was the year of the Swift-Kelce romance.
I thought that was great. Come on, if you've got a problem with it, there's something wrong with you.
Other iconic moments, Jason Kelce.
After the Buffalo game, aren't we all Jason Kelce?
Chris Jones and Isaiah Pacheco.
The man can run. I mean, he's amazing.
But it always starts with Big Red.
He's like the first ornament on the Christmas tree. Every year he's the one because he's kind of the anchor of the team. The whole thing kind of gets created around that.
Parsons' art reads like a book, a snapshot in time.
At the end of the year, you can look at this and say, yeah, that was the 2023 season. It's an ever-evolving work of art, and so finally we land here.
And now he gets to stand back and let others enjoy it. He said at least 50 people have been on his lawn, and that's just today, including Joe and Kelly McCarthy, who drove from Olathe to see it.
We wanted to get out of the house and come see it. I love Chris Jones, and all of them actually.
Parson is humbled by the community reaction.
I don't know if I'm good at it. It's just something I really enjoy doing though.
And happy to see that his mission of his art uniting people is coming true.
And that's what the Chiefs do. The Chiefs bring people together, and if my artwork can symbolize that and help you with that, let's do it.
There's no telling what next season will bring, but Parson is certain he won't have to take down these faces anytime soon.
Are you kidding me? After we won that Buffalo game, oh no, we are unstoppable, all right?
And still to come on KOAM News at Noon, we see what's cooking with Mr. Food.
Looking for the ultimate comfort food? Well, look no more. Today, we're cooking up a classic favorite that dates back to the 17th century, yet has never gone out of style.
And Doug Hetty will have another check of the forecast when the KOAM News at Noon returns.
So far, it's turned out to be a pretty good Thursday once again for us today. Of course, a lot of clouds and the winds have picked up a little bit more than what we've seen over the past couple days. But check out our afternoon. Eventually, we'll get up to about 67 degrees. Let's go 63 by 2 p.m., 65 by 4 p.m. So this means every single day this week, so far, we've been into the 60s for highs, and we should do it again by the time we head into your Friday. A little windy. It's not like windy, but it's windy. Southeasterly winds at about 20 to 30, gusts 20 to 30 through the afternoon into the evening hours. Let's go ahead and roll into Friday. It stays windy tomorrow, not as bad, but those southerly winds kind of in that 15 to 20 mile per hour range. All right, mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. Let's stop at 4:30 p.m. Temperatures, most of us mid-60s. It looks pretty good. Let's go through the overnight hours tonight. Mostly cloudy skies again. It's not that chilly. We back down 44 Stockton, 48 in Miami, 48 in Parsons, Anderson, upper 40s as well. Friday, those clouds thicken, but look at our temps. We still go into the mid-60s for highs. Fort Scott, 66. Veneta, much of the same. Monette, up to about 64. Now, Friday night, here comes the rain. Starts to advance in. I think most of the night's going to be dry, but once we get into Saturday morning, these showers start to spread in on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side and will continue to lift off toward the north and to the east. So let's go through your weekend. It stinks to get rain on the weekend, but we need the rain. We've been in a serious drought over the past couple years. It's much better now, but let's keep it that way. Light rain continues through the day on Saturday. Here's 4 p.m. As we go through Saturday night, periods of showers and rain. This whole storm system kind of pivots on top of us on Sunday, so that means all day long. A cold rain on Sunday, highs right around 50 degrees. By the time we head into Sunday night, the rain starts to advance out of here. We'll still have a few leftover showers Monday morning, and then once we get into Monday afternoon, pretty good. Partly sunny skies, a little cooler, highs into the mid-50s. How much rain could we get? It doesn't look extremely heavy, but a decent amount. Lighter amounts, eastern counties, half an inch or so. Once you get to the state line of Kansas and Missouri, also Oklahoma, a half an inch, maybe upwards to an inch which would be pretty good news because, like I said, we need that rain. All right, 67 today. Tomorrow's Groundhog Day. 66 degrees. It definitely doesn't feel like early February. Cooling down a bit as we head into the weekend with those showers pushing through the region, lasting into Monday morning. Sunshine returns Tuesday and Wednesday. Also, the 60s return, and then we cool back down by Super Bowl weekend.
Well, stick around because we're making beef stroganoff in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. It's time to check in with Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Today he's making beef stroganoff. Take a look.
This time of year, no matter how much we want to cut back, we still crave comfort food in a big way. You know, the kinds of foods that warm us up and make us feel all cozy inside. And today, we have just the thing. It's a dish that dates back to the 17th century, yet is still very fitting. I'm talking about beef stroganoff. And if you got a minute, let me share how easy it is to throw together. The first thing we want to do is cut a boneless top sirloin steak into 1/4-inch slices. This gets sauteed in some melted butter, along with a bit of chopped onion and garlic, until no pink remains. Takes just minutes. We sprinkle the top with a little flour and a good amount of black pepper. And for the sauce, we add a can of cream of mushroom soup, a can of cream of chicken soup, and some fresh mushrooms. After this simmers for a bit, we stir in some sour cream, and there you have it. It doesn't get any easier. When you serve this over buttered noodles, which is pretty traditional, or mashed potatoes, get ready for comfort at its best. The recipe for our simple beef stroganoff is online now, so you can make it as soon as tonight. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an oldie but goodie way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Now, here's a look at the 4-state market price.
All right, it looks like a pretty good afternoon for us today. A little windy, winds gusting 20, 25, upwards of 30, but a high temp of 67 degrees. 66 tomorrow, Groundhog Day, cooling down for the weekend. Showers roll in all the way until Monday morning, and then we dry out and pop back into the 60s the middle of next week.
All right, and Dow, what do you have for us?
A lot at 5. For starters, a big child tax credit bill is heading to the Senate. Plus, the water woes continue for Caney, Kansas. And one Joplin shop wants to give a local addiction treatment center some extra love this Valentine's Day. Hope you'll join us. KOAM News at 5.
And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at Noon. Have a great rest of your day.